The story you are about to hear is a compilation of documented true facts featuring historical characters, events, or places that has played a role in shaping history. Please sit back and listen as I recite this narrative for you.
Richard Biegenwald was an American serial killer who committed his crimes in Monmouth County, New Jersey. Between 1958 and 1983, Biegenwald killed at least 9 people and he is suspected in at least 2 other murders. Richard Biegenwald had a terrible start in life at the hands of his alcoholic father. Born in Rockland County, New York, Biegenwald was regularly beaten by his father, and by the time he was 5 years old, serious problems were starting to emerge. It was at this age that Biegenwald set fire to the family home and was sent to the Rockland County Psychiatric Center for observation. By the age of 8, Biegenwald was drinking and gambling. At age 9, he underwent electroshock therapy at New York's Bellevue Hospital. After his therapy, Biegenwald was placed in the State Training School for Boys in Warwick, New York. During his years there, Biegenwald was accused of theft and inciting other inmates to escape. Biegenwald would steal money from his mother when he visited her, and during a visit when he was 11, he set himself on fire. At the age of 16, he was released from the state training school so he could attend regular high school. This only lasted a few weeks before he dropped out, and not long afterwards, he moved to Nashville, Tennessee. During the 2 years he lived in Nashville, Biegenwald stole a car and was arrested by federal agents in Kentucky for driving a stolen vehicle across the state lines. When he was released by Kentucky, he went to Staten Island where he proceeded to steal another car. This time, he drove it to a grocery store in Bayonne, New Jersey, and attempted to rob the store. It was during this robbery that Biegenwald committed his first murder. The first murder took place in Bayonne, New Jersey on December 18, 1958, during a robbery. Biegenwald and an accomplice held up a grocery store and Biegenwald shot and killed Stephen Sladowski, the clerk. Biegenwald and his male partner were picked up in Maryland 2 days later after Biegenwald shot a Salisbury police officer and fired a shotgun at state troopers who pulled him over for speeding. He was convicted of murder and given a life sentence. Richard was released after serving only 17 years in 1974. Back on the street, Biegenwald worked odd jobs and met a pretty 16-year-old girl who was a neighbor of his mother. The girl was a normal, outstanding student whose parents were shocked when they found out she was engaged to a scar-faced ex-con who was more than twice her age. By this time, Biegenwald had not reported to his parole officer since mid-1977 and was suspected in rape as well. He was arrested in Brooklyn in June 1980 and married his girlfriend in the Brooklyn House of Detention. The rape charges were dropped when the victim failed to identify him in a lineup, but he still served 6 months for his parole violation. When released, he moved into an apartment with his wife in Asbury Park, New Jersey. There, Biegenwald was befriended by Darren Fitzgerald, who would play a role in several of his future murders. Biegenwald struck again on January 4, 1983, when he shot and killed 18-year-old Anna Olizowicz in Ocean Township, New Jersey. He had found the young woman walking down the boardwalk in Asbury Park and lured her into his car. Olizowicz's body was found by children playing in a wooded lot behind a Burger King on Route 35 and Sunset Avenue, fully clothed with no sign of sexual assault and with 4 bullets in her head. A friend of Biegenwald's wife went to police after Biegenwald showed her another young woman's body that he had hidden inside his Asbury Park home's garage and even gave her a ring as a present that belonged to a victim. On January 22, police surrounded his and Darren Fitzgerald's apartments, surprising them. A search of the house turned up pipe bombs, pistols, a machine gun, knockout drops, marijuana, a live puff adder snake, and floor plans of various local businesses. They created a ruse to get Biegenwald out of the house, and once he stepped out, officers grabbed him. Fitzgerald tried to hide in one of the rooms, but police found him and arrested him as well. In custody, Fitzgerald began to tell of Biegenwald showing him a body in the garage, saying that she had been killed for business reasons. He helped bury that body at the home of Biegenwald's mother on Staten Island, accidentally uncovering a second dead body as he was digging the grave. Fitzgerald led police to the bodies of 3 more victims. William Ward also went missing in September 1982. A friend of Biegenwald's, Ward was a prison escapee and a drug dealer. His body was found in a shallow grave at a cemetery, having been shot 5 times in the head. While Fitzgerald was being interviewed, he told officers that Biegenwald had shown him the dead body of a young woman in his garage. The body was then taken to the area behind the Burger King and dumped. He also admitted helping Biegenwald take another body to his mother's house, and they had buried it in a basement, and during this dig, they unearthed another body that had been there a while. Following his directions, police unearthed the remains of 17-year-old Maria Shalelia, last seen on October 1981, and Deborah Osborne, also 17, missing since April 1982. Shalelia had been shot twice in the head, while Osborne had been stabbed in the chest and abdomen. Another field trip with Fitzgerald brought officers to the grave of 17-year-old Betsy Bacon, shot twice in the head at a point north of Asbury Park. As the investigation proceeded, new charges were filed against Biegenwald in the murder of prison escapee William Ward, who was shot 5 times in the head and buried outside Neptune City, New Jersey. Despite there being 9 known victims, there was only enough evidence to charge Biegenwald with 5 counts of murder in the first degree. Fitzgerald turned state's evidence, pleading guilty on counts of weapons possession and hindering Biegenwald's arrest, meaning helping bury bodies, and received 5 years for each count. At his trial, he was convicted on all counts and sentenced to death by lethal injection. Then the appeals began. Biegenwald's first death sentence was overturned, but in January 1989, a new jury again sentenced him to death. The case became a flashpoint for controversy over the death penalty, and his case made it to the state Supreme Court. In August 1991, the sentence was again overturned and Biegenwald was tucked away in New Jersey State Prison. This time, the monster stayed inside the box until he died at age 67 of natural causes on March 10, 2008.
Hey everyone! I just wanted to express how grateful I am that you took the time to listen to my narration. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I am Twisted Mind and please enjoy the rest of your day. Salamat!